Hey, welcome to the photo scene. You are here with Josie and Vania, and this is our first podcast, so welcome. We're super excited about this. We've been talking about this for a long time, and here we are. We've done
doing
it.
this thing.
We're doing it. And I'm super excited. So today we're just basically going to be talking a little bit about what the photo scene is and how it came to be. And we're going to talk a little bit about Josie's photography adventure and journey, and Vanya, me, hi, about my photography journey. And it's kind of cool because you'll get to see like a little bit about us and behind the scenes and kind of what the photo scene is. So here we go. Josie, what is the photo scene?
So Vanya called me up one day and was like, hey, I have this business proposition. And she's like, what do you think about starting an education company? And I was like, that sounds amazing. So I jumped right into it because I was feeling unchallenged in my photography journey, and I was looking for something to learn and something to do that was different than photographing because I felt like I reached my maximum potential and I needed to learn some more. So I was trying videography. I was dabbling just in different things to see where I could grow and learn somewhere else. So when she approached me with it, I was like, well, that would be fun because Vanya is a super close friend of mine and it'll be so much fun. And why not? So we started it and here we are. You tell your version
and
now.
so well, the photo scene, essentially it's a learning platform for photographers who are either just starting their businesses or they are trying to grow their businesses, and maybe they're stuck somewhere in the business journey because it can be a lot. Especially if you're a creative brained person and you are, you get stuck a little bit on the business side of things. Josie and I have both been there. So, that idea came to me because I wish that I had had something over 10 years ago when I started photography. I wish I had more guidance. I wished I had, just more of a support system and somewhere I could go to learn about the things that I had to trial and error myself for so long. And any shortcuts I can give to someone and help them out with, just getting somewhere or crossing a bridge faster than I did. Like that's my goal, and I want to be able to help other photographers, get to where they want to be and quicker than than what I went through or what Josie went through. Yeah, I think, the best time the most amount I ever learned was doing courses and finding a mentor. Those two things helped me really expedite, the photography journey for me. So I just want to be able to help other photographers do that as well. And I know Josie feels the same way. So here we are. And here's the photo scene.
Mm-hmm. So here we are.
Yeah. Okay.
So
any other things you want to add to that, Josie, about the photo scene? Are we missing anything?
I don't think so. You're a little blurry. Am I blurry?
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's throwing me off because I'm like, I can hear you very well, but it's like a little blurry. So I didn't know if like that mattered, but I guess it's okay. Let's just keep going through and then we don't always have to go with the video.
Okay.
But
sorry if we're blurs. We're here and that's half the battle. We showed up today.
We did. We showed up.
We're here. So yeah, if you want to, is there anything you want to elaborate and tell people about the photo scene that you were thinking or that you are excited to help other photographers with?
Not really. We just are super excited to be offering education to photographers that could be struggling with what we struggled with. And I still to this day don't find it's really easy to like find a bunch of stuff in one place. So like us providing that is super exciting, and we have a lot of super exciting more additional things in the works that we're very excited about, like some people that we're collaborating with. Yes, something we will talk about at the end of the show.
Yeah. Okay, so Josie what got you into photography? Tell me about like, how did you get into it? Why, how and why?
So I got into photography later in life, unfortunately. I know a lot of people started younger, and I get kind of jelly because I'm like, why didn't I know so much younger? Because I wasted so much life away, but it's fine. It is what it is. Um, so I got into it. I was about 28 years old, maybe 30. It was around when I was having my kids. And I was actually pregnant with my first child. And I asked my best friend to take pictures of me, and I spent hours and hours editing. I forgot the editing program that we used to use back in the day. Do you remember the name of that?
Um,
It was like, it was really like the
is it
thing back in the day. What was it called?
was it just like one of the free editing programs like
Yes.
GIMP or something like
No,
that?
not GIMP. It was another
Monkey,
one.
Pick Monkey,
No, yes, pick something. Is it
Pick
pick monkey?
Monkey. Yeah, that was one of them. I don't know. I think.
So I was using, it was terrible editing. Oh my gosh. I had no idea what I was doing. I was shooting on JPEGs and I was editing, and I spent
Oh my
hours and
god.
hours on that and MySpace between the two.
Yep, I
um,
know.
yeah. So, and I realized how much that I enjoyed editing. So, and still to this day, fast forward, my favorite part of photography is editing. So there you go. But rewind. And then I had my kids, and then I got a point and shoot camera, and I was taking pictures of like my flip flops, and that's like the first thing I ever photographed, I think, if I remember right. And then I just kept photographing my kids. And then I was over at my dad's for a birthday party, and I picked up his DSLR and was totally hooked on it. And then my dad started to see something within me. He's also an entrepreneur.
Oh,
And he was like, he saw the drive in me, and he was trying to push me, like, stop doing dental technician work, because I was working for him at the time and I was going to take over his business, but I wasn't passionate about it. He's like, I see your passion for photography. Pursue that, do less dental technician. And I didn't listen to him for a while, and then I quit the dental technician field, and because it just was like very male dominated, and I wasn't happy or feeling fulfilled, and I was still doing photography. And then I decided to go into dental hygiene. So I went to school for 4 years, um, thinking I wanted to be a dental hygienist. And then when I was ready to apply for dental hygiene, I did 4 years because I had to do it very, very slow. You have to have very good grades, and being a mom, I wanted to make sure I had A's and B's, mostly A's. Um, and and then when I was about to apply for the dental hygiene program, I was like, I made $60,000 this year, and that's what a dental hygienist makes. What am I doing? And then it clicked for me, and I was like, you can make a living doing what you love. Like, it was really hard for me to understand that. And it took, and you know this, Vania, like, there's been times I've almost quit, and Vania called me up and was like, no, girl, you need to not do this. um, we've been
yep,
friends a long time, right, Vania? Like, we met, oh my gosh,
yeah. Back
probably
in
like 11 years ago.
Yeah, that's so crazy. No,
I
not
know.
11 years ago. Not 11 years ago. It was
I know I'm really bad with
well,
the years, aren't I?
I moved here about 7 years ago. So
Okay,
probably back in like
really? So then,
2013, I think we met. 2013.
okay, that sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so the next year I would have done better than the year before, but COVID happened. And so a lot of my couples moved into this year, which is fine. It is what it is. What can you do about it? Like, my business
Right.
was still thriving, even though COVID was happening. It just, things were moving and not as like progressing as fast as they were, but that's fine. It's
Right.
not a big deal. And then this year I'm doing really well too, but here we are, we're doing the photo scene,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be cutting back a little bit. So that's
Yeah.
my spiel. Now it's your turn.
So well, I just
How
want
did
to
you
ask
start
you like how did
photography?
no, I just want to ask you real
Go
quick
ahead.
what like so did you make like so you were doing photography on the side, right? So you
Correct.
were going into the dental hygiene field, or so you thought, right? I know we have that in
Hmm.
common too. I was also going to be a dental
We're so
hygienist.
much alike. It's
We're
weird.
also boy moms, and we were both going to be dental hygienists at one point, which is so crazy.
I forgot about that, Vanya.
I didn't go through the schooling part as much as you did, but so
Yeah.
you were doing that
Lucky you.
you also had a daytime job, right? When you were doing photography. So you were kind of doing photography on the side. And is that how you made your first 60K, or were you doing photography full time and
So
then
my
going to
business made
school?
60K. It's not what I profited, but
Hmm.
I did do very well still.
Right.
Because
But
expenses are like crazy. But
right.
yeah, I was doing part-time of each.
Okay. So you were both, it was part-time, part-time.
Yeah.
So when you like
Yeah.
decided to go full-time with photography, you had already made that amount of money. So it gave you the confidence to be able to move forward, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes, people I
So
feel
yeah.
like are really wanting to, jump into the full time thing because they might hate their day jobs, or, they might just not be happy in the situation that they're in, and they might just want to like jump into the full time thing. So I think it's always really important to, kind of let people know where you were. Like, did you just jump in, or did you have a main source of income? You know what I mean? So it's helpful, I think, for people
Yeah,
to understand
definitely.
that, sometimes it doesn't happen right away. And sometimes you need to maybe make, that money
There's
from
no way it can
photography
happen right
first
away.
before you jump in full time, right?
Yeah,
Because I feel like that can give you a confidence boost.
exactly.
If you were just working for free and doing a bunch of free shoots in photography, and you might not build that confidence as fast to be able to go full time, so you want to maybe make
Yeah.
sure to make money before you jump into that, or, make sure that you're on a good flow state, right?
Yeah, like a weaning state,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So when you're full time now, like what does it look like to you now being a full time photographer? Like how has it changed, like your day to day, your weeks? Like how did you shift from working from somebody else to going full time? Like how did you do that? Was it easy for you? Did you have to like plan things out? Like how did you make that shift?
Um, I'm a crazy lady. I I stuff my schedules like crazy, like you do, Vanya.
No.
Um, I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you. I was very busy because I was doing the photography thing and doing weddings. I remember clearly studying like as soon as I got home from a wedding for like 4 hours, and I didn't go to bed till like 1 a.m. and got like a little bit of sleep, and it was a juggling act. It was crazy. It
Yeah.
was so hard, but I did it. So I think it's like that mind over matter thing that you got to come over. Like I can do this. The I can do this attitude always wins every single time. Like if you know you
Right.
can do it, then you tell yourself you can do it. If you can tell
Right.
yourself you can do it, then you'll do it. If that makes sense.
Did you experience a lot of self-doubt?
When I quit doing school,
Yeah. Like when you jumped in, like was there ever a moment where you were like met with resistance, where you're like, is this the right thing that I'm doing? Like even though you had made that money and you jumped into photography full time, is there any a moment, like was there ever a moment when you were like, maybe I made the wrong move?
uh, sometimes because I'll be honest, being a business owner is nonstop, and every single moment of the day you're thinking about your business, and so it's no easy lifestyle. Like if you're going into photography full time, you got to like consider that it's your business, it's your baby. So it's like you literally go to bed thinking about your business.
Right.
So there was
Right.
parts of me that was like, man, if I went into dental hygiene, I'd make a good 60K, 70K a year, and then I could have weekends off and I could have
Right.
nights off and not think
Right.
about
Right.
anything. It's all on
Right.
them, you know? So yeah, that's the only time that I thought, and still to this day, I'm like, man, I just wish I had a 9 to 5, you know?
Yeah, sometimes because I think it's hard because you don't realize sometimes, well, at least like when you're starting to get into the creative business world, like sometimes you don't realize like, oh, you're going to have to bring your work home with you. Like you don't just set it and forget it. You don't just go to a job and come back and you're done. You
Correct.
you have to keep working at it, and you have to be very like self motivated in that sense. And so I can imagine that it would be hard to make that shift from like, going from a 9 to 5, leaving your work there, coming home, and leaving all of that, being
Yeah.
able to forget about it, hang out with your family, but then making that shift into going into working for yourself. you don't have that luxury necessarily. Like you
No.
can, but when you're starting,
And
it doesn't look like that. You don't really have a lot of breaks. You don't have a
it
lot of
doesn't feel
free
like it.
time. Yeah. I mean, eventually once you get to a certain
Yeah,
point,
it was like
sure. So go
Mhm.
ahead.
It was like a weaning process for me. And just like you, like, it became an idea of photographing. And I didn't know I was going to make a business out of it. And it just like slowly teetered its way. And so I don't feel like it was it wasn't shocking to the system when I quit doing school and I went into photography full time, if that makes sense. If anything, it was like relieving because I didn't have to study anymore and I could just focus on what I love and thrive and spend so much time on every little detail that I didn't have the time to before.
Right. And did you always know that you were, I mean, ever since you started your photography journey, like did you always know that you were going to do weddings, or did you have to think about that one? Did you experiment?
That's such
Like
a good
what was your
question. Okay, so this is fun. I'm having a good time. But I want to talk about you.
Yeah.
Okay. So me and Vanya became friends because I just want to like kind of rewind. We became friends because we had this mutual model that we were photographing. We were both fashion photographers. At the time I was a fashion photographer. Vanya is still a fashion photographer. Um, and we were shooting this mutual model and she said to me when I grabbed her hair like this, like I just touched her hair like pre-COVID
Mhm.
time, she's like, oh my God, you remind me of Vanya so much. I'm like, who is this Vanya? And I remember
Yeah.
hitting Vanya up and I'm like, we have to be friends. And then remember we did that
Mhm.
show? It was like
Yeah.
One Chick Fete or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we did a fashion show in front of all these people. Like we staged models and Vanya and I took turns taking pictures and it was like a really cool experience. But anyway,
Yeah. I
so
remember
fast
that.
forward.
Liz kept calling me Josie on our shoots. I was like, "Who's Josie?"
And
She's like, "Oh, you remind me of Josie so much." Like, so it's funny because we heard about each other before we ever met, and it's only because of this model, Liz. So thank
Liz,
you, Liz, if you're
thank you,
listening or if you ever
Liz.
listen. Like, that was amazing. You introduced us.
I know. Now we're like soul friends forever
Yeah.
and created this business. So yeah, so fashion photography is where I started. And then this bride hit me up. She was in the service, or probably still is in the service. And she was like, hey, I've been looking nonstop for a photographer and I can't stand their like generic same old stuff. I love your fashion. It's very edgy and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay. And she was like, oh, and I'll pay like 3K. And I'm like,
What?
what? Like jackpot. I got so excited. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
very
Like this
different
was,
from what fashion pays, right?
yeah. So I didn't make anything. It was more like I was
Yeah.
shooting for free so much. But so yeah, she asked me that and I jumped right in and made a price list that was like 25K, 3K, and 35K because obviously they always go for the middle one. And
Yeah.
I booked her and I feel so like looking back in hindsight, I feel really bad because I was still really, really new. Jeremy actually was
Yeah.
my second shooter on that, my husband.
That's amazing. That's
But
amazing.
yeah, so I enjoyed it. I liked that it was good bread and butter and there's just something about couples and love. So I got
Yeah.
stuck.
Was there ever a moment when when she paid you that 3 grand that you were like, uh-oh, like, did you feel nervous? Like shooting that when you hadn't really
Okay.
shot, had you shot weddings before?
I think I did a couple things for like a couple $100, but when she paid
Mhm.
me that, obviously I'm not one of those like skeezy people. So I was like, all right, she paid me all this money, so now I need to do something with it. I'm the fake it till you make it type of girl.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, so I was like, I can do this, I guess.
You
So
had
I
the
went and got
confidence.
myself,
Yeah.
yeah, I went and got myself a camera off of eBay I paid, I don't know, maybe $1,000 or $1,500 for
Was
a
this a
used
new
camera.
camera? A
And it
new
was
camera?
used on
Oh,
eBay.
okay.
I bidded on it and I took my time to make sure it wasn't stolen and I made sure the acquisitions were low. And, I did my homework, of course. And it was my first non-crop sensor camera.
Wow.
And yeah, so I forgot what the question was.
Oh, we were just talking about like if there was ever a moment of
Oh,
like
if I
you
felt
feeling
bad.
like if you felt
Okay.
bad like because you were so new at weddings, and 3 grand for a new shooter for a
Ah,
wedding is like that's unheard of. I remember my first wedding shoot, even though I didn't end up
yeah.
going with weddings, was $50. I got paid $50 off of Craigslist, and the
Okay.
girl wanted me to
Well,
Photoshop her.
oh my God. It's always the cheap ones that want you to do
that's
stuff like that, you
amazing.
know?
That's amazing that she was willing to pay you
Well, I need to
$3,000.
back up because
Mhm.
I want people to feel encouraged. So,
Mhm.
or I don't know, maybe it's more encouraging to hear I made $3,000 my first wedding, but my first wedding ever, I made $100.
Okay.
Ever. My first wedding
Yeah.
ever. And you know, I made a grand here, grand here, grand. I think I did little things with my crop sensor camera, believe it or not.
Oh,
But they
yeah.
knew I was new. I was always
Yeah.
very honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
That's
honest with this bride
important.
too. So,
Mhm. That's
but yeah.
important. Well, that's awesome. So, who is your biggest influence in photography?
You know the
Or
answer to
anybody
this.
really that's influenced you to be the artist that you are today? Like how who's
So,
in
what is her name? Jade?
Oh, are you talking about Laura Jade?
Laura Jade?
Laura Jade?
Laura Jade,
Mhm.
help me. You
Mhm.
know who they are. Laura
Yeah.
Jade and the other fashion artist was her name. I'm brain farting, but there's a couple girls. They're all in the same era where they're all fashion photographers, and that's what encouraged me. I remember listening to like podcasts and stuff actually when I was driving around for dental lab stuff. I was delivering crowns and bridges to dental offices, and I remember listening to her and being so encouraged. And to this day, she's still amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
inspiring for sure.
that's what inspired me. I can't think of the other one's Lindsay Adler.
Yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, we were just having a conversation
We
about her the other
were.
day too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, those two are the ones that really sparked me up, and I can't remember who. India Earl. India Earl, like in my later years of photography, like
Yeah,
wow,
for sure. She's amazing too.
she is amazing.
Yeah, those are all very good sources of inspiration for
Yeah.
sure. So what in the wedding industry, who's your ideal client? Like who's your dream client? Who's your favorite client?
In the wedding industry, I'll be honest, I'm kind of trying to wean into more elopement style and
Mhm.
even like micro weddings, just because I feel like the really big weddings, like, yes, you make really good money, and you can make good money with elopements too. I just have to be strategic about it. And I'm in the planning stages for that right now.
Right. So it's
Eventually,
more
I'll
like
lean into that. Yeah, it'll
right.
take
It's
some
more
time
like
of creating.
traveling. Mhm.
I got to redo my homepage and my site copy and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely traveling around and doing elopements or micro weddings.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's what you want to shift into.
Yeah, and then obviously doing more of this too. But I want to be more selective now. I think I'm at that point now where I can do that, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I have to thank everybody else I've worked for because I wouldn't be where I was today.
Yeah,
Every single one
no,
of them.
totally. I love that. So, okay, last question, and then I'll shut up. But
I'm on the
what
hot
is
seat.
what is some advice that you would give to aspiring photographers who want to make photography their full-time job and they want to switch from working from someone else to working for themselves and make photography their full-time gig? What is some advice you'd give them?
So I tell a lot of my my newer starting friends this, and I'm going to say it today, that someone told me once to do 1 hour every single day on your business, no matter what it is, work on your website, blog, do something every single day towards your business. Eventually you're going to get, to where you are successful and full time. It's just going to take time and patience.
So consistency, right?
Consistency, and you have to
Yeah.
have a drive, I feel like, in order
Hmm.
to succeed, because you have to believe that you're going to succeed or you won't succeed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're
I
the
feel
drivers
like
of our life, our brains
Oh,
are.
yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
mindset and consistency are like the two most important things, right? Like I think
Yeah.
before you do anything, business related at all, or like anything that takes, a bit of confidence and a bit of drive is that mindset, like your belief, like it has to be in place. Like if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe that, you are going to make an income off of your creativity, like it will not work. Like your belief is everything. Like it does make a
Yeah.
difference. And sometimes like we have those blocks, right, for a while. And I always believe like their blocks are there for a reason. They're there to like, show you something, or, it's there for a reason, for a specific time in your life. And eventually you'll get to a place, like if you want it hard, like enough, that you will start to break down those blocks and you'll get to the other side. But it takes a little bit of time, and it takes some work. I think a lot of, the
Yeah.
belief, breaking those belief systems does take work. And yeah, you'll
Speaking
get there.
kindly to yourself
Yeah.
every single day. Yeah. Definitely have
Totally.
to do that.
Yeah, we know that. We know that. We give each other pep talks on that, right? Every day we're giving each other pep
Yes.
talks. All right, that was
Okay, I have a
awesome
question. If
advice.
I click over, can you tell?
Mm-mm.
I'm clicking over the screen because I have a question list for you, but I don't want to like be
Yeah.
distracting.
No, you're good.
No? We're all good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So I created a list, but I don't know if it's as good as yours because yours is very gold towards the photographers. Mine's kind of, I just kind of winged it. Maybe it is kind of good. All right, let's go through this.
It's great, Josie. It's great. Remember?
It's
Be kind to
great.
yourself.
Yes.
It's
Be nice.
great.
Okay. Hi, Vania.
Hi.
All right. So tell us about you. Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have a dog?
Yes and yes. Yes. Yes and yes and yes. All of the above. 3
Yes, you're a big
boys,
mama.
6 and under, 1 dog, and 1 husband. I couldn't take any more than 1 husband.
You don't have 2 husbands?
Just 1. Just 1 is good enough.
That's so funny. Okay. What do you like to do for fun other than photography?
Okay, so I have a billion and one things I love to do, and they're all kind of creative endeavors of mine. But obviously, you know that I trained as a yoga teacher, so yoga is a big part of my life. And yes, it is fun for me. I know a lot of people that don't like it, and it's not fun for them, but it is fun for me. It's
The only thing we don't have in common.
yeah, the yoga thing. But I have to. I'll teach you a class, Josie. You'll get on board.
You should.
Yeah,
I
I
love
would.
that.
I know. I think it's so good. It's just such a good, especially if you're into working out and stuff like that. I think that it's a good
Yeah.
balance. It's a good mix. Besides that, I love to paint.
Yeah.
We both love painting. I also love to
Yep, I have
write.
that in common with you too.
Yeah, I love writing like little like poetry.
What? Tell me about your writing. What do you like to write? So, Vania, that's another thing we have in common.
Yeah, you're a writer.
Yeah, I used to write poetry in
Yeah.
high school. Like, I had books and books and books, and I even submitted them and got them published.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I can't believe this.
That's awesome. That's farther. I know. We're still learning
Gosh, we
things
have so
about
much
each
in
other, you
common.
guys. It's like the honeymoon
Okay, go
phase
ahead.
just keeps going.
So tell me about your poetry.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a writer. I've always, been kind of an artist at heart, just a creative. I never thought I would be a photographer. That's like the furthest from my mind. Like my vision when I was little was living alone in a studio apartment in New York City in the top of a high rise, like just painting and drawing and writing, and that's it. That was my vision. That was my
That's
big
really
vision.
close to what you're doing now.
Yeah, kind of, but with
Yeah.
like a big family.
But you're in Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm in Florida. I'm not in a city, but
Have you painted lately?
I've been getting back into painting a little bit, not the fluid painting, but just more like abstract painting, intuitive painting. I've been meditating and drawing, and then I'll turn it into like a painting of some sort. So just finding little outlets. I think that, after you've been doing photography for so long, like it's really good to just have different creative outlets because, photography like can be like, I don't know, just like not as tactile, or like you're at a computer a lot. Like some people, you don't notice that, or like you wouldn't think like, oh, a photographer, like you you think of like this glamorous life where they're like out on location shooting like all day and, doing, just
I think
constantly
of those
shooting. Like
memes.
that's like some people's vision of
Yeah.
it. And it's just like, no, that's not true. Like that's only 20% of a photographer's job is the actual shooting part. The 80% of it is literally on a computer. And for me, like I just need to be able to be able to write and draw and paint and make stuff with my hands. Like I feel like that's so satisfying. Like I'll even take some of my photography and
Yeah.
make collages out of it, or like, do little like
That's
arts and
amazing.
crafts type things just to get out of the computer, step away from it a
I
little
need to
bit.
do that too, Vanya. You've inspired me again.
Yeah, you should. We can have a little art day. We can have a little collage day.
Heck yeah. Yoga and art.
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
fun.
Next question.
Mm.
What brought you to find your passion in photography? Which is really similar to what you asked me too.
Yeah. So, similarly, is that a word? To you, I started out editing. I started out in Photoshop. I was acting and modeling in LA. I had moved there right after high school with $100 to my name and just kind of doing the thing, just living on a whim. And luckily, I did get acting jobs and modeling jobs. And through that, when I was doing that, I had brought a film camera with me that was gifted. I had picked up photography before when I was younger, like just doing landscape photos when we were traveling or something like that, but nothing too like crazy. I'd take pictures of like my family or my friends. I'd dress them up and like, I don't know, we dressed up as like Spice Girls or something and took pictures of each other one time. Just like these
That's
little
so
like
cute.
weird things. But I never like thought, I never
How old were
gave,
you?
oh, I was like 12. Like I never gave any thought to like actually being
Oh,
a
wow.
photographer or becoming a photographer. But yeah, just like doing like little photo shoots with my friends, doing that whole thing. But when I had moved to LA, what really inspired me was when I was modeling and acting, like I was constantly asking questions to the photographers or to the people behind the cameras. Like I was always asking questions, learning about lighting, learning about their thought process. Like, I don't know, just kind of dabbling, like just kind of picking their brains about stuff. And I was like really fascinated with the things behind the camera. And then I would always like take the photos I started like working with the photographers and I would take the photos and I'd start editing for them. So I would start editing like photos that they would take of other people. I would edit my own photos and they always liked my editing. So I just started doing that
And
for photographers. And then
you were 12?
no, this was when after I moved out of this was after high school. So right out of high school, I had moved to
Okay.
LA. And so this kind of sparked my idea like, oh, like you can make photography a career. I didn't realize that, but I had always
Yeah.
dabbled in photography when I was younger, but I just didn't realize that that was a profession or like something that you could do. So, yeah, I think
Same.
that being in front of the camera just kind of, led me to a direction of being like just fascinated more behind the camera. And one day I just decided that I didn't want to be in front of the camera anymore. I didn't want to act. I didn't want to model. I just wanted to be behind it. I wanted to direct other people because I had started doing photo shoots with my friends and like my acting friends, my modeling friends, and the agencies were liking their photos. So yeah, it came and gave me confidence to be like, oh, I can do it, even though I know
Wow.
nothing really about the proper photography. So it sparked my interest, and I ended up going back to
Yeah.
Arizona and going to school for media and digital imaging. I got a mentorship with a commercial and celebrity photographer. I also worked for a fine art photographer, fine art fashion photographer. So yeah, I think that really influenced me and really showed me like what kind of, that you can make it as a profession, as a career, because I would have never thought it would be something that you could do. So that's my
So
story.
what kind of questions did you ask the photographer in order to get that job? Like what did you do to convince them to allow you to work with them?
Um, Gosh, okay. So are you talking about my mentorship where I turned into an assistant? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
when you
talking
moved
about?
to Arizona
Oh,
and you were a little older and you started working for other photographers.
yeah. So what happened with that is like well, the fine art fashion photographer, I was originally in a model for him, and then started, assisting him on shoots and then helping him with editing and stuff like that. So that was pretty, like, I just slid right in there. I didn't really have to do much work
Okay.
about that because we had kind of known each other. But
Yeah.
the other person that I worked for, his name's Christopher Barr. He's a commercial photographer. What happened is I think I was searching around for internships, like internships or mentorships or something when I was living um, in California, and I had found his site and I just applied for a mentorship program or an internship or whatever. So he ended up taking me on when I moved back to Arizona, and I don't know, it just turned into, we developed a relationship and he was mentoring me, teaching me all the things. And then he asked me to work for him as an assistant. So that's what I did. But yeah, it was a learning curve for sure. Cause
Yeah.
I got thrown some curveballs in there. Like, he was the kind of person that would just throw me out on the job and say, okay, figure it out. Like, and I wouldn't, he's like, go set up that C
Which
stand,
is good for a
go put
hands-on
that
learner.
light on, this setting. And I'd kind of freeze and be like, okay, like, just slowly walk over, slowly start to put up, whatever I was going to put up. But I had no clue what I was doing. Like, people probably thought they're like, what is this little girl doing setting up a C stand? Or it's like, I felt so self-conscious because I really
How old
didn't
were
know
you
what
at
I
this
was
time?
doing. I think I was 23, maybe 23 or 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I was around 23 or 24.
So if you had suggestions to photographers looking to intern people in order to get their feet wet, so to speak,
Mhm.
how would you suggest for them to do that?
So definitely reaching out, doing your research. And my biggest thing is, like, I think you definitely need to aspire to be like, or to want to be in the position of the photographer that you're learning from. It's not necessary. Like, it is kind of good to go and learn from different photographers. Like, but I knew the direction that I wanted to go. Like, even though I dabbled in wedding, family portraits, all the things that came across, because people would just ask me, and I said, sure, why not? But I always had in the back of my mind, like, okay, I want to go like the commercial fashion, fine art route. Like, I always knew that would be, because that would just be my calling. And so that's who I wanted to intern or, have a mentorship from. Like, I probably wouldn't go mentor with a
Yeah.
wedding photographer because that's not what I wanted to do, even though I'm sure it'd be great learning. I
Right.
knew that wasn't for me. So, definitely finding people who you aspire to be, similar,
Yes.
or go in that direction, or something like that would be my biggest
Yes.
piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
And ask, when you get into a mentorship or an internship, or anything like that, ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because that's the learning part. And take notes and really just dive in there, because you're going to learn a lot. It's a lot easier to
Yeah.
learn from somebody doing something in front of you than you trying to go out there and learn it on your own, and trial and erroring
Oh
everything,
yeah.
even though we did that too. But still, it's important to
Yeah.
be able to learn from other
Get
people
hands-on.
who are where you want to be, eventually. I think that's one of the best ways to learn. And then you get that support system too, and it feels
Yeah.
like you're getting the feedback. I think everyone in life should really have a mentor of some sort, whether it's a life mentor,
Yeah.
or like a
Absolutely.
business mentor, or something, like somebody that you can
Yes.
really
Somebody to
just
give you
kind of,
direction.
right, follow in their footsteps, especially if you don't have a lot of people in your life, or maybe people don't understand what you're trying to get into. Like, I didn't really have a lot of people around me in the creative industry, or that were entrepreneurs, or that were creative in that sense. So I didn't really have a whole lot of people. I had to go find people to learn from, because nobody
Yeah.
around me was doing anything like I wanted to do. So I think that's really important.
I love that.
Yeah,
You're inspiring.
you are.
All right.
I just want to poke your
So
nose.
How long have you been a photographer? You started when you were
Um,
12, or do you count
well,
that?
I dabbled when I was 12. It wasn't really anything
Yeah.
serious. I had picked up a camera for the first time when I was 12, and I would immediately, my sense, like I would do the landscape photos, but I was like always like, this is too boring for me. Like I need somebody in it. Like I need people. So I had a little brother. I mean, I still have a little brother. I had a little brother. I still have a little brother. Um, I would like take him and I'd like pose him in like little like serious poses. I'd take all my magazines out and try to copy like the poses, like the fashion magazines, and I'd make it all serious. I mean, I think he was like 5 at the time. Okay. So it's like this
Aw,
little boy is like all
that's so
model-esque.
cool.
But that's the kind of stuff I do. So it's been a part of my life for a long time. But I actually officially started my photography
Yeah.
business in 2012. So
Yeah.
however long that is.
Okay.
But I've been a
Yeah.
photographer for a long
That's a
time,
long
but
time.
started a business in 2012.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Name some favorite books or podcasts that you have read lately or listened to.
Oh my gosh, Josie, you don't even want to start me on this tangent
Okay,
right
pick your
now.
top 2. Okay, I know
Okay.
you. Pick your top 2.
So
Your
you
top
know
2
that I'm
favorite
constantly
best
sending
books you
you.
keep going back to, or
I know
podcasts.
I'm constantly sending you.
Let's tell the people.
Okay, so my top podcast that I like to listen to right now is Lewis House. I love his podcast. I love like the speakers that he brings on. They're so inspiring. I mean, it's everything from like life to business to just all the thing. It's called The School of Greatness, and it's really awesome. It's been really inspiring, even though I have like a billion more. But that's one of the top ones that pops up in my YouTube right now. So I watch a lot of him.
Yeah.
Um, for podcasts, like photography podcasts, I listen to a lot of what do I listen to? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see what's on my Spotify.
I know, but I
Right.
want to see what you say.
Okay. Well, The Heart and Hustle, we listen to them a lot.
Yes. We love
Um,
them.
I like to listen to what's her name?
Darcy.
Jenna Kutcher?
Darcy.
Darcy Button
Jenna
Kutcher,
Kutcher.
right?
Yes.
Jenna Kutcher.
Yes.
All very inspiring. And, and then somebody who's like not
Those are our favorites.
a photographer. I love Impact Theory with Tom Billu. I think I'm saying it right or wrong. I don't know.
I never heard of that, I don't think.
And
Did you
then
send me that one?
he's kind of like Lewis House. I think they're friends actually, but he does kind of the same thing. Like he brings on people that, make a huge impact in the world. I mean, it's all kinds of speakers. That the guests that they bring on are absolutely phenomenal. Like you can just learn so much about everything. And I'm just always a student. I'm a student of life. so those are my tops right now. I have a ton of
You
YouTube
love to
channels I
learn.
listen to.
I
Yeah.
love that about you.
Yeah. I love, and so
Yeah.
do you. We both do. We'll
Well,
always be
yeah.
learning.
Yes, you can never stop learning, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is, and I have 4 more, and I know we're coming up on an hour. I don't know. Do we need to stop at an hour?
Probably have about like 10 more minutes.
Okay, I'll ask you a couple more. What things do you do to stay happy and level while running 2 businesses and being a mommy of 3 littles? I don't know why I wrote 2.
That's okay. To stay happy, I definitely have to work out. You know that you definitely feel the same way. Working out, we always talk about this, self-care, I think comes first before all the business stuff, because it is a lot. I mean, juggling 2 businesses and a family, like my life feels chaotic, and you feel the same way a lot. So we have a lot of conversations about that. We have to give each other pep talks about, reminding each other to take care of ourselves, because it can be really easy to just get up in the morning and go straight to the computer and grind it out all day. But, we've both been,
it's so easy to do.
We've both been trying to, do the self-care thing first in the morning. And for me, that looks like, maybe doing a meditation or prayer or breath work, yoga, all those things, like incorporating those things throughout my day. And running, I love running, and all those things, like doing a hard workout and trying to balance it with the other mindfulness techniques and all that. I could go on for
Yeah.
days about that. So definitely
That's an amazing tip, though. I think
mm,
always
no,
put yourself first, for sure.
yeah, self-care first, and then you can figure out the other stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I have two more good questions. Why do you like to educate, and have you done it before?
Yeah, so I feel like I love helping people. Obviously, that's such like a cliche thing to say. Everyone loves helping people. Who doesn't like helping people? If
Not
there's
everybody
anybody
does,
out there who
though.
doesn't like helping people, you let me know, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I was wrong. But I do, especially like I think creatives can have a really rough time in our society and our culture because the system's not set up for us and we kind of have to make our own way. And I feel like
Yeah.
helping other, photographers or creatives out there, try to navigate this world of business is, I don't know, it fulfills me. It makes me happy seeing others thrive.
That's
And
amazing.
yes, I have experience in teaching workshops. I actually used to teach modeling and acting workshops when I was younger. So that was kind of fun. I taught it to like teenagers and kids, and then I taught some photography, some smaller end photography workshops in person, and I've also taught fluid painting workshops. So yes, I have some experience
Wow, I didn't
in
know that.
teaching, and now it's going all online.
Yeah.
But we have some in-person stuff
Yeah.
coming up too,
I
so
love
we
that
have
so
it we
much.
have it all.
Yeah, we do. Okay, last question. Um, why did you choose me, Josie, for the educational platform?
What? Wait, what?
I don't remember asking this.
Huh? Why did I
Why did
choose?
you choose me to Why did you choose me to partner with you?
Oh, this is a selfish question, Josie. You just want me to boost you up. No, because you have a determination, ambition like I have never seen anybody else have. I don't have anyone like
Oh,
that in my life. And you are just very trustworthy. You're easygoing. You are
thank you,
just,
Vania.
you're very comfortable. Like, I think that we flow well together. If we didn't flow well together, like, there's no way we could run a business together. Like, it
Yeah,
would
we
just
do.
fall apart at the seams. Like, we have a really, like, good relationship. It started off like, I don't know, it just always felt so natural. Like, even if there was times like where we
Yeah, it's
didn't
easy.
connect, like on a maybe it was like once a year or something that we were connected, but it's always been like a very comfortable
Yeah.
comfortable relationship where it just feels like we can pick up where we left off no matter what. And we have open communication, so that's another huge thing in our business. I feel like in a friendship, in any relationship in general, communication is literally so key. So yeah,
Yeah.
and you're just an amazing human. I love you.
Stop. Okay. I feel really bad I asked this. I'm like, I honestly didn't even read it before I read it, or I wouldn't have read it. And I chose to say yes to working with you because I knew it was going to be amazing, and you inspire me so freaking much. Like, you
Hmm.
inspire me every day, and I've learned so much since we started the photo scene. It's not even funny. And you
Same.
encourage me a lot too. So I
Same.
don't know where I'd be without you. You've even encouraged me back when I wanted to quit photography, if you remember that correctly, back in the
Yeah.
day. Remember,
Aw.
Jeremy was like, "You're not going to
Yeah.
make money off of that." My husband,
Yeah.
he didn't
I
think that I
know.
could make money off
Yeah.
photography, and he was
Why
getting
is it?
upset with me because I kept doing free shoots.
Yeah, it's always the people closest to us, right? That try to.
Yeah,
I don't think they're
discourage.
intentionally doing it. I think what happens
Yeah,
is that they have some self-doubt with them in them, and they project it onto other people because they feel like it's something that maybe they couldn't achieve, or that they feel
I
that
never
is
looked at it
not.
like that before.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't think it has anything
I
to
think I wrote
do
a
with the
blog about that
person.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. We listen to a lot of
Yeah. I have this
blogs.
similar mindset about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So try not to take those things personal if that comes up. It's probably very, very common in the creative industry or any time you're trying to do
It happened to
something
you,
for
right,
yourself.
Vanya?
Oh yeah. It still happens to me. It still
Yeah, you
happens to
had
me. I
people
mean,
telling you couldn't do it.
yeah, I think there's always going to be the naysayers, and I think that that's just part of
Yeah.
life, and a lot of it also
Life.
probably comes down to our mental talk too, right? Like our inner voice, I think, can
Yeah.
also be reflected to us in an outside world. If we're having those self-doubts, I think sometimes it can come through other people as well. So, we always have to check our mindset
Yeah.
first, and then if somebody does say something, it's not about you. It isn't. Then don't make it about you
No.
because it's
Just don't
not.
listen to them.
No,
You can
you
do
always,
anything you put your mind to.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Aw,
Yeah.
I feel like our conversation turned into a nice Hallmark card.
It did.
Aw,
What the heck?
got all sappy.
Well,
Got
this
all
was
sappy.
fun. So we did our first podcast.
Yay. So excited. We did it. And we're so excited to be here.
We
And
did
we're so
it for
excited
almost
to,
an hour.
yeah, I know. And we're going to have more
Yeah.
podcasts like this. We're going to bring on amazing guests to interview that are all within the
Yes. Yep.
photography industry. We're gonna get some
Yes.
awesome behind the scenes, and have more conversations, like
Yes.
real open conversations about what is this business world of photography. How we're gonna unlock the mystery here, because it shouldn't be a mystery. Like, I don't know why it has to be so hard. Like, why you have to go from YouTube channel to YouTube channel to try to piece things together. I mean, it takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
and I hope that we can give and bring the most valuable content to you guys to really help you, because that is our mission, and we want a community of
Yes.
creatives and photographers to come together and to help each other out. Stop making it about competition. Start making about community, community over competition. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, Anything else you want to talk a little bit about the workshop we have coming up, Josie, and then we'll sign
Yeah,
off?
just want to let's briefly plug in those things that we have going on. So we have a workshop in the works, and we're collaborating with a wedding planner or planner, which we can talk about at another show. And then Vanya, you want to talk about Brooke?
Oh, yeah. And then we have some awesome templates for photographers to be able to use in their business coming to our site. They will be up available on our site very soon. And we hope that you will subscribe to our email list if you haven't already, to be able to be the first to know about these things that we have going on, because we have a lot in the works, and it's coming, you guys. It's coming. So sign up for our
Yes.
newsletter, and make sure that you find out about all of our happenings going on here, because we're excited to share.
Yes, we are. All right. So we're going to wrap this up, and we'll talk next time.
All right. Bye, Josie.
Bye.